Imagine walking out to the biggest match of your life, knowing your body is failing you. In the 1998 World Cup final, Brazil's unstoppable striker, Ronaldo Nazário, suffered a mysterious pre-game seizure. He played like a ghost, and his team's aura of invincibility shattered. Before 2002, the hierarchy of global football was strictly bordered. If a nation wanted to win a World Cup, they had to be a traditional powerhouse from Europe or South America. No one else was invited to the top table. The 2002 tournament broke that geographical lock. The World Cup traveled to Asia for the very first time, fueled by a staggering $4.7 billion investment in state-of-the-art infrastructure. This move required a massive diplomatic compromise. South Korea and Japan, nations with a bitter historical rivalry, agreed to a joint co-hostio model to avoid splitting the Asian Football Confederation. They had to collaborate to make the mega event work. The tension of this new frontier spilled directly onto the pitch in the opening match. France arrived as the reigning world champions, but missing their playmakers Zinedine Zidane, they were completely neutralized. Senegal, playing their first-ever World Cup game, stunned the title holders 1-0. Senegal's upset set the tone for the entire month. It was the first violent tremor in a tournament that systematically dismantled football's old guard. Part of this chaos was engineered directly by the rulebook. In the knockout stages, teams faced the golden goal, a sudden death overtime rule where the very first goal scored immediately ended the match. FIFA intended the golden goal to inspire thrilling, attacking football. Instead, it created a paralyzing psychological trap. The fear of making a single, fatal mistake pushed teams to contract tightly into hyper-defensive shells. Players were simply too terrified to push forward. Adding to the anxiety was the official match ball. Adidas introduced the FIFA Nova, which featured a new synthetic foam layer. Elite goalkeepers and strikers heavily criticized it, complaining that it was far too light and its flight path was wildly erratic. When you combine an unpredictable, bouncy ball with a sudden death rule that punishes the slightest error, you get a systemic environment engineered for defensive anxiety and shocking upsets. As the group stages ended, the tactical surprises mutated into structural controversies. The host nation, South Korea, made a historic run to the semifinals, but their path was shadowed by fierce debates over the refereeing. The round of 16 match between South Korea and Italy ignited a global firestorm, centering around the performance of Ecuadorian referee Byron Moreno. The Italian squad was outraged by a string of decisions. They pointed to unpunished physical tackles, a disallowed golden goal for an incorrect offside call, and a deeply controversial second yellow card given to star playmaker Francesco Totti for alleged diving in the penalty area. The scrutiny only intensified in the quarterfinals. Against Spain, Egyptian referee Gamal Al-Gandour disallowed 2 legitimate Spanish goals, one in regular time and a crucial header in extra time. Spain eventually lost in a penalty shootout. These highly visible incidents forced a severe public reckoning. The compounding controversies eroded global trust in FIFA's officiating standards and sparked demands for much greater transparency in how referees were assigned and evaluated. While the host's path drew intense criticism, 2 other nations provided a breath of fresh air. Turkey and Senegal arrived with 0 historic expectations and played a fearless, creative style of football that captivated audiences worldwide. Their paths collided in the quarterfinals. In the 94th minute, Turkish substitute İlhan Manzes connected with a cross to strike a historic golden goal, instantly ending Senegal's run and sending Turkey to the semifinals. The golden goal rule paralyzed the traditional giants, but for these unburdened underdogs, it provided the precise mechanism to rewrite their national history with a single, sudden swing of a boot. By the semifinals, the field finally cleared. Germany, relying on brutal efficiency over flair, stepped up to face an exhausted South Korean squad. During the match, German midfielder Michael Ballack recognized a highly dangerous Korean counterattack forming, making a fateful decision. Knowing he already had a yellow card, he deliberately committed a tactical foul to stop the play. The resulting booking suspended him for the final. Less than 5 minutes later, Ballack scored the winning goal. His conscious decision to sacrifice his personal dream of playing in a World Cup final to secure his team's victory stands out as an act of pure, selfless professionalism amid a tournament defined by chaos. On June 30th, the final in Yokohama presented a perfect clash of opposing forces. It was Germany's nearly impenetrable defense against Brazil's devastating attacking trio of Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, and Ronaldo. The German backline was anchored by Oliver Kahn, a formidable goalkeeper who had conceded only a single goal throughout the entire competition. Standing opposite Kahn was Ronaldo. 4 years after his unexplained collapse in Paris, he arrived in Japan seeking total personal redemption. Tactically, the immovable object blinked in the 67th minute. Rivaldo fired a heavy shot, Kahn uncharacteristically fumbled, and Ronaldo pounced to break the deadlock. 12 minutes later, during a low cross, Rivaldo executed a masterclass dummy. The deception destroyed the German defensive line, leaving Ronaldo completely open to strike the final blow. Brazil claimed their 5th title, but the impacts of the 2002 World Cup rippled far beyond the pitch. It marked the death of the deeply unpopular golden goal rule, spurred an explosion of professional football leagues in Asia, and drove a measurable increase in diplomatic goodwill between Japan and South Korea. The tournament was chaotic, deeply controversial, and brutally unpredictable, but it was the exact crucible required to drag global football out of traditional borders, providing the stage for the sport's greatest individual comeback.